Kuphall Outfitters specializes in adventure gear. Anything you need for getting outside, Kuphall Outfitters has it and more. Go have an adventure now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bass 2 Anglers podcast. Thanks for being with us. Our guest is in the middle of his second BASS Elite Series season, where he's currently in 33rd place. He has an astounding record of finishing in the money, having earned a check in 20 of 21 Bassmaster events, including a win at the Central Open on Smith Lake. He's a Bassmaster Classic qualifier, and he just won the last BASS Elite Series tour stop at Lake Guntersville. Caleb Kuphall, welcome to Bass 2 Anglers podcast. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
You know, we don't usually jump right to the obvious. We usually kind of build up on it. But at that Guntersville event, places 2 through 10 were separated by 4.5 pounds. Places 1 through 2 separated by almost 18 pounds. The question is, what did you find out that the rest of the field didn't find out at Guntersville?
Yeah, I think it was just the areas that I found. I had 2 just extremely good areas that kept producing big fish. My first area, my milfoil area, I pretty much caught all the big ones there on the first day. And it was kind of just a waning deal, as the tournament went on. Just kept catching less and less fish there. The size was kind of shrinking, but that secondary area just lit up. The last 3 days, especially, not so much the second day, but the last 2 days, and just kept pulling big ones out of there. It was a place that kept reloading every day, and just one of those magic spots you find.
Do you think? Were they pulling much water at Guntersville during the event? Was the current a factor at all in any of your fish?
There on that secondary area, I did see some current every day that they bit in there pretty good. So, there was a little bit of current in that area, but, I wouldn't say it was, current driven as far as, the bite. So.
With Bass Live, of course, nothing is secret anymore. I mean, for the viewer, it's pretty cool to get to be in the boat with you guys. For the pro, I don't know. There's not much you can hide, but it looked like these grass mats you were fishing. They were massive, and I guess my question is how did you know where to go within those mats? Did you just fish the whole thing, or were there specific places that you were keying in on?
Well, I kind of zeroed in on the flipping deal about halfway through practice. I had tried a bunch of the ledge stuff, did probably a half a day of the idling deal, and didn't find a whole lot offshore that I could really go to. I did a lot of mid-depth stuff, cranking and fishing, jackhammers and a lot of moving baits, but I really started to get some better bites flipping, and that's kind of what I ended up basing the second half of my practice on. And to find those areas, it was pretty much just fish them. You can't really find them on your electronics. It's something that you got to go in there and actually fish and try to get bites. So it was just fishing as much as I could of that stuff, and finding the little sweet spots in the grass, especially in that first area. That whole bay was just filled with milfoil, and I think in practice I spent about 3 to 4 hours in there. And I only got bit out of one little tiny section, and really exploited that throughout the tournament and found just a sweet spot no bigger than my boat. And that's where, all the big ones were stacked, and I just kept coming around to it. And it seemed like every time you'd make a pass on it, you get a bite and hopefully a good one.
Okay. So that really helps me understand, because I'm looking at this wide, vast, just endless mats, it seemed like. And but this is actually a spot that you found and continued to fish over and over and over again. When we talk about mat fishing, those fish can be anywhere in that water column under the mats. They can be right up underneath the grass itself, like right underneath, or it can be on the bottom. You can punch through a mat with a jig. It can go to the bottom, and you can shake it on the bottom all day long and not get bit, but the fish are still there. Is that something maybe that you figured out a little bit better than some of the other guys, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. In that secondary area that I had when I was fishing the mats, they were pretty much suspended right up under those mats. So, they weren't on the bottom per se, but I had very few strikes where you'd flip it in there and your bait would actually hit the bottom. They'd pretty much smoke it as soon as it fell through. But the first area that I had, the milfoil area, was about 6 foot of water, and in that case, they were on the bottom. I never got any strikes up in the water column. They were all on the bottom.
Hmm.
So kind of zeroing into those two deals. It's kind of typical, with grass though. If you're flipping milfoil for them to be on the bottom, and then those matted areas for them to be just positioned right under those mats. So
I know you hear the Florida anglers a lot of times talk about instead of shaking something on the bottom, shaking it, like pulling it into the mat and shaking it, like shaking it into the ceiling, so to speak. Is that kind of what was going
mhm.
on in that one spot for you?
That will trigger strikes. If you drop it in there and you don't get a bite right away, I know a lot of guys that'll actually, move their rod and bring that bait up to actually hit the top of the mat, and that'll trigger a strike as well. So yeah, that is kind of my style when I'm flipping that sort of cover, to drop it in there and to give her, 3 or 4 strokes, from the top of the mat all the way to the bottom. So you're kind of covering, the whole water column there. You're only dealing with 2.5 to 3 foot of water. So, that's kind of what I was doing.
So on day one, obviously was just a stellar day. It was what, 27 pounds, and you were really on it. It was day two, your 15-pound day.
Yes.
15 pounds in most tournaments is not a bad day, but compared to what you had the first day, did that cause you to change and look elsewhere? Was they starting to, you feel like they were starting to go away at that point?
I thought I was running out of fish. Obviously, I wasn't, with the way the tournament ended up shaking out. But I think it was more conditions. We had a lot of wind on that second day, and especially in my secondary area, I just could not move around and fish those mats properly. I was just, struggling to to kind of fish them, and I was having to keep my troll motor on a very high setting, and that's not good when you're fishing in 2.5, 3 foot of water. When you're flipping very, very close to the boat, I thought I was spooking a lot of fish before I was getting to them. So I would say that light day was more, conditions related than anything else, because obviously the fish were still there.
And then there's day four. You're obviously going into day four with a lead. What are your thoughts? Is there a, oh my gosh, don't blow this? Is there let's just keep going? I mean, what did you sleep well the night before?
I I got about probably 3.5 to 4 hours worth of sleep that night. It wasn't good. I wasn't really nervous. It was just kind of more anxious. Kind of looking forward to just having it over with. But it's one of those things. It's always in the back of your mind. It's like, man, I got 11.5 pound lead. If I blow this thing, it ain't gonna look good. So, I had to work hard, that last day, and I never let up, and ended up weighing in the heaviest sack of the day. So
Well, I think, and again, because Bass Live puts us right in your boat, I think you got your first keeper on day four before 6 a.m. Is that right?
yeah, I think that first one came pretty quick.
That had to that had to make it feel okay.
Yeah, it was definitely took a little bit of load off, but I still knew that I had to catch him pretty good that day, to as it turns out I didn't, but I thought I did. I kind of had that 15-pound mark in my head, that if I got the 15 pounds, I probably would, pretty much walk away with it. So
Well, it was very cool, and I mean, I guess in recent seasons, we did see Patrick Walters do that at Lake Fork, but we don't usually see anybody run away with an event the way you did. You just really put a hurt on those fish. Everybody else was fishing for second.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that That first day, that was really the booster, to have just a 6.5 pound lead right out of the gate. That was just a phenomenal day. It's one of those days on the water that, you get every once in a while where everything just lines up, the stars align, and, you land every bite you get, and catch big ones. And, that was it for me. That first day just really got me started off right.
Looking at your Elite Series career, you've had some really, really strong finishes in elite events. You've also had, I don't know, maybe some flat tires and some events that were not very good. It's kind of seems like for you, the longer you can keep yourself going, the more you can kind of get around this learning curve of what it takes to survive out there on the tour. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my second year on the Elite Series, so I haven't been there all that long, and it's definitely a learning curve. Compared to all the other circuits that I've fished. It's totally different. These guys are the best in the world. They're there for a reason, and it's just amazing how they just perform every single tournament. And you can even like a mediocre day is a bad day on the elites. And I've just kind of been trying to hone my skills, get better at certain things, and just try to get better and more rounded, I guess, as an angler, to hopefully compete with those guys. I've had some good finishes, I've had some really bad ones, and hopefully I can just keep those bad ones to a minimum.
Well, what's an area of improvement that you want to see? I mean, obviously, you proved this week that you do pretty well with a flipping stick in a shallow water type of environment. What's an area you want to improve on?
Definitely the deep game. Electronics, I'm not really all that versed in. I have good electronics on my boat, but I just need to learn how to use them a little bit better. And you know, just the whole deep water game. I'm a shallow water guy. That's kind of what I've grown up doing, and made a lot of money that way. And it's got me this far. But when you're fishing against these guys, you got to be more rounded. So.
Kuphall Outfitters wants you to go have an adventure now. Kuphall Outfitters specializes in adventure gear. Anything you need for getting outside, Kuphall Outfitters has it and more. Go have an adventure now. So you recently on your Instagram account posted a picture of, I guess you referred to it as the Hotel Kuphall, the accommodations that you have on the road.
Yep.
Do you expect to be able to upgrade now, or are you going to keep it humble for the time being?
I'll keep it the way it is. I like that setup. I stay at campgrounds and stuff on the Elite Series, as does a lot of the guys, actually. Probably, I don't know, 25% of the guys stay at campgrounds. So I'll be still doing that. I don't know. I might upgrade my truck next year. We'll see how that goes, but I'll still be running a Tundra.
Years ago, I fished in an event out here in California, in the west part of the country, at Lake Mead, the U.S. Open, and I would run, I would get to the ramp early, and every day there, Rick Clunn would sleep literally on the ramp. I mean, he would just
Hmm.
pull up there and he would sleep on the ramp. I never forgot that. It seemed a bit eccentric at the time, but who am I to argue with that kind of success? So, maybe keeping it that way is a better thing. Now, your boat, you mentioned in one of your YouTube posts, or one of the things I saw, maybe it was a Bassmaster post, but your boat's a 2016. That's got to be the oldest boat on tour, right?
Yeah, I think it is probably by far, probably by several years. Most of these guys get a brand new boat every year or every other year, and I think I got the only two-stroke in the field too. So everybody's got four strokes now. The Yamahas and Mercuries and the new Suzuki's and stuff like that. But I look forward to getting a new boat next year. Though I'll be running something different next year. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think that you could take that blue trophy and walk into, just about any of the manufacturers and sit down and say, here's my blue trophy.
Yeah, let's do something. Yeah,
Right, right.
hopefully.
There's just a couple of tour events left this season. It's going to be over by the end of June, which seems crazy. Uh, when do you start lining up support for next year? I mean, I imagine you'll be at the Classic. Do you go to ICAST as well?
I haven't actually yet. I probably will go this year. But I've actually never been to ICAST before, but I'm really looking forward to going. That's, just a huge thing, in the tackle world, fishing industry, and look forward to doing that. But outside of just the supporting, it's kind of an ongoing thing. You just kind of, uh, you know, create deals as you go, and partnerships along the way. And I got a lot of, really good sponsors now, that will hopefully be supporting me in the future. And, we'll just have to see how things go there. So.
Speaking of just a couple tour events left, you're in 33rd place as of right now, above the classic cut line for next year. Two remaining events are Northern, Champlain, and the St. Lawrence River. You've had reasonable success there. What's your thoughts about those events?
I'm looking forward to them. I'd probably rather be going up there than to going down south again. I feel more comfortable up there for sure. Two absolutely outstanding fisheries. Did okay there last year. I didn't do terrific, but I had been to Champlain before last year. Had not been to Waddington, but just looking forward to them. I like the smallmouth largemouth mix. The mixed bag type deal, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
When the Elite Series ends at the end of June, what does the rest of the fishing year look like for you, or what does the rest of the year look like for you?
Pretty much just staying around the house here. I'll be fishing a lot of local tournaments. Staying on the water, staying sharp. Just honing my skills, getting better for the next year, and we'll see what we can do. So a lot of fishing. That's kind of my life. So that's what I
So
do.
the local organizations will let a guy with a blue trophy enter their events.
They have so far, so we'll see if that continues. But hopefully, yeah.
I was talking to Frank Talley the other day, and they won't let him join the team tournaments down in Texas anymore.
Yeah. Some events like that, they don't allow pros or whatever. But I'm still in as of now up here, so nobody's told me otherwise. Maybe I'll get
Well,
there, and they'll say, hey, maybe some people complain or whatever. We'll see. I don't know. It's a good deal though.
well, Caleb, I appreciate you coming on today and telling us your story. You got a great story. Looking forward to watching how you do the rest of the season. Best of luck to you, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.